Hi, I'm Rick Conlow. Thank you for coming to this video training on the 7 critical challenges confronting all leaders at all levels. Now, as you know and you've experienced, there's been a great resignation and quit going on. Millions of employees in the U.S., 4+ million a year for the last few years, have quit their jobs. They just said, I'm out of here. And in fact, there's an age group of young men, 21 to 45 years old, 7+ million of them have decided not to work. They're in the prime of their life to work, but they just said, I'm out of here. I'm not going to go there. And so, of course, there's a severe labor shortage. If you're a manager, which I assume you are as you're participating in this program, or you want to be, you're developing your skills, there's labor shortages and it makes it difficult for companies to do their job. So it's crazy out there. There's a broken trust. People don't believe in the organizations and the institutions, both business and government, that they did before. So there's an unease, So here's a question for you. How are you doing in the midst of all this? What's going on for you as you look at your career and your opportunities and your growth? How are you feeling? Do you feeling any of these things that I have listed here? Are you hurried? You got to get something done. You're rushed because maybe you're short team members. You're frustrated with some of the goals and organizations and changes that are going on. Maybe disappointed, worried, doubtful about the future and where you're going or your opportunities with your current company. Stressed. I got that one in red. There's lots of this. And so maybe unhappy about what how that makes you feel, anxious, angry about some things that have happened to you that got in your way, affect your income, your family, working weekends, travel, those kinds of things, maybe even burnt out. And I would suspect that some of you are positive, pumped, upbeat about what's going on. Things seem to be going well. Or maybe you've got mixed emotions. You got a little bit of both the negative and the positive going on. The thing of it isn't easy. Never has been. But with the marketplace the way it is, with the world being disrupted with wars and rumors of wars and food crises and oil challenges, all those kinds of things, it's difficult. It's like people don't want to work, or they're just not putting themselves into it. It's like this manager coming to the employee saying, why aren't you working? And the employee says, I didn't see you coming. I don't mean to laugh at it, but it's tough. And so let's look at these 7 critical challenges that affect us all in management and leadership positions. And I'm going to hit on them, and then I'm going to focus on one of them. So first one is hiring and training excellent employees. So labor shortage, great resignation, people quitting. It's tough to get and keep people. We see help wanted ads everywhere. In fact, some businesses have notices in their windows as you come into them, say a restaurant, and it says, please be patient. We have half a staff. So it's that kind of thing that's going on. So we need to find good people. We need to keep people. And then motivate and inspire them. They're feeling some of the same things we're feeling in the marketplace, in their careers, in their lives. So how can we tap into that potential? So, and part of it then is developing, training, and coaching these employees related to their career, not their personal life. We're not going to be counselors, but resources and tools and institutions they can go to get help if they need that. And then building a team, whether you have the full team or part of the team, making it a high performance team. How do we do that so we can reach and exceed our goals? Because our career success, our financial rewards depend on that, on how well the team does. And then, of course, any organization, managing the politics, it seems like it's worse, especially when in today's world where the political instability and infighting and constant bickering and positioning have gone on in terms of views and particular issues, which bleeds over into the workplace, doesn't it? You've experienced that. So managing that politics, the office, and then all big organizations, all companies have some level of politics. Who's the big boss, who you got to favor, and all of that. How do you manage that? And executing positive and proactive change. It's like change is the name of the game all the time, not some of the time. There's organizations are in constant disruption and change to deal with the competition, to handle customers, to keep employees, to work together better. It's tough. These are the challenges. And then number 7 is personal development. How do we take care of ourselves to be able to deal with those other 6 most effectively? Now, I'll just say a couple of things about the other 6, then I'm going to focus on number 7. This is it. First, as a leader, we got to have a plan. As a leader, we got to invest in our team. As a leader, we've got to be willing to communicate positively with the team and one another. And then as a leader, we got to deal with all people similarly. So we don't play the office politics game. I never did that. What I did is I focused on the team and my performance. And then number 7, I focused on myself to do the best job I could. And what I found is office politics, as I performed well, tend to melt away. So I didn't get into that. I didn't get into that favoritism and follow this person or that or spreading the rumors. I focused on what I was doing. So now let's talk about personal development. But before you do that, just stick with me here. Put your hands together real quick. Notice which thumb's on top. Then take them apart, put them together with the other thumbs on top. What do you notice with the second way? It's uncomfortable, isn't it? Any change we do, any development we do in the beginning is uncomfortable. Put your hands out like this, clap them together real quickly. And I know this is a video training. Probably nobody's watching you. You're seeing this alone. Just do it. Clap it. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, then go. Next. Ready? Let's do it together. Ready? 1, 2, 3, next. Whoa! Now, what this is about left brain, right brain. Left brain, logical, the way I do it. Here's how things work. Right brain is about innovation and change. That's part of what we need to have personal development. We've got to be willing to do some of the uncomfortable to become comfortable high performers. So let me ask you a second question then, as we lead into this. What's holding you back in your career? Is it your boss? Is it other leaders or coworkers? How about the marketplace and all the disruption and change and craziness that's going on with that? How about the economy? It's not growing fast enough. Unemployment, as we've talked about, the great resignation. How about your family or your spouse? Maybe they don't want you to work so much. They want you to go a different direction. Or how about institutional bias and perspective? Now, all these things are real. They impact us, okay? Or no opportunity. Not enough opportunity within my company or within my chosen field. Now, let me say this. The most important thing is the personal development. The lack of skills, the lack of knowledge, the determination, the persistence, the drive, the goals, the positive mindset. Because the world will beat us down at any time it gets us a chance. It'll beat us to our knees. The world does it. All this stuff does that to us and make it difficult. What helps us get us through, what separates us from the best, and the rest, is the bottom part, the personal development, how I handle it. Not what happens to me, how I handle it. How do I respond? If I lose, what do I do to get back up and win next time? If I get beat down, do I get up again or not? That's what I'm talking about here. This is also what separates the best leaders from the rest. So that's what we have to look at. Notice these quotes here, and I'm just going to read them off to you. Walt Disney said, "I always like to look on the optimistic side of life, but I am realistic enough to know that life is a complex matter." So it isn't necessarily easy, and there's lots of things involved in it, but we can't control a lot of it. Some of those things in that slide that were all in red, but what we can control is how we respond. Or how about this one from Aldous Huxley? He said, "There's only one corner of the universe you can be certain of improving, and that's your own self." Or Brendan Burchard said this, keeping one's attitude positive, especially when the world conspires to make us mad, is one of the great accomplishments in life. And then this one that pulls it all together. If you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change the way you think about it. And that's part of what my message is here about management and leadership. Change the way you think about it. It takes personal development. It takes a commitment to learning. Now, here's where it begins. Simon Sinek talks about the golden circle, and I love this because it talks about how a company develops. And he says most companies start with the what, the result that they want. And he says you should start with the why. Why are you here? What makes you different? Your purpose. And then you go to the how, that's your process of doing your job, and the what, the result. Now, as good as this is, I think he misses one other thing that's a key ingredient to effective, successful leadership. Dealing with the critical challenges that I talked to you about earlier. And that is, notice in yellow, the who. It's the people. That's what's missing in the golden circle. And what's often missing in organizations. People tend to become an afterthought. No wonder they quit. No wonder they're disaffective. No wonder they're disengaged. No wonder they don't want to be there and they're unproductive. It's because organizations don't focus on them enough. They don't believe in them. They see them as a discardable commodity. People power will revolutionize the workplace, and it's beginning to do so already. And what it's about is servant leadership, and it is needed and wanted. See, employees, the people you're going to work with that you have to go find and keep, want to be respected and valued. They want well-being and partnership and growth and learning and purpose. They want career development. Create an environment, a culture where you have that. Do you see where I'm coming from? Think about the bosses you had. How many of them really focused that way? They focused on you rather than the company. See, I don't think too many of them did that. But when we do, we can build great employee engagement and great employee retention. It's about serving. And if serving is below you in this challenging, crazy marketplace and world that we're in, leadership is beyond you. So what we need to do is focus on serving. Now here's the thing. People have incredible potential, just like you. If we can tap it, if we can help them grow and learn and develop that personal development I was talking about earlier. For example, Luke Aiken's a skydiver. I don't know if you knew this or read his story, but he jumps out of an airplane at 25,000 feet without a parachute. And he lands safely. Now there's a net that he falls into and it catches him. But he does it. That's kind of crazy. I wouldn't do that, would you? Or how about Julian Newman? As a 12-year-old, he made the high school basketball team. He's awesome. He's a phenom. And how did he get that good? Well, as soon as he could walk, he started playing basketball. And he got so good that by the time he's 12, he could compete with the high school players. And he scored 12 points as a 7th grader. That was his average. Unbelievable. Or Nicholas McCarthy. What do you notice about him? He has one hand, but he's a concert pianist today. Well, most people would quit. They wouldn't even try. See what I'm saying? And then I like the last picture there. A grandma there, 80 plus years old. And what is she doing? She's hopscotching. Okay? She's going to do it anyway, even though she's older. That's what I'm talking about. People have incredible potential. And our job as a leader is to tap that. Now, traditional leadership doesn't do that very well. Their focus isn't on the team or the people. It's on the profits in the company. And if you don't measure up, yeah, a lot of companies do online learning and things like that today. But you know what? That's on you. You better do it. If you don't do it, you're out of here. Okay? Because it's about the profits. It's about the projects. It's about the processes. It's about the personal success of the executives or the company. It isn't about everybody else. Again, they're just a cog in the wheel. You know what I'm talking about. You've worked for companies like that. You may be in one like that right now. A servant leader's focus is different. A servant leader is about people. Help them succeed. Help people succeed, and when they succeed, we succeed as a leader. It's about purpose. It's about making a difference in people's lives and in the community. It's about helping people and employees in the community reach their potential and success. Because what servant leaders know is when they do that, the company makes more money. In fact, I'll show you some research in just a moment. So this is the personal development, being willing to do this. Now, the state of the art of leadership says this isn't going on. 81% of employees want to leave their job for a better offer. 82% of managers are failing, according to Gallup. 85% of employees are disengaged worldwide. But what I've discovered is management disengagement is as bad or worse than employee disengagement, because the executives, hard driving, want to get what they want to get those bonuses, want the stock options, beat up on the management to be able to get the results to the goals. You know, I worked in 4 companies before I went into consulting. One of them was nonprofit, so they were servant leadership focused. So the other 3, 2 out of the 3, it was all about the money. One of my bosses, the thing he would say every day to everybody that he came in contact with was, how much money did you make for me today? That was the focus. That's what often happens. So managers like you are often just as disengaged as many employees. 80 to 95% of customer service problems are management related, not employees. And if you take the statistics and put all that together, on an $85 trillion worldwide economy, $22 trillion is lost because of those kinds of things. That's almost a fourth when you think about it. Well, yeah, it's close to a fourth. Think about the difference with better productivity, better results that it would be for employees, organizations, the community, the governments. Hey, there's a lot of money on the table. So there's a bottom line impact to all of this. So servant leadership is about serving first. It begins with the natural feeling that one wants to serve, as opposed to wanting power, fame, influence, and wealth, says Robert Greenleaf, who started servant leadership in business back in the 70s. He had 10 principles. And if you look at these aren't the normal things you see in management and leadership training. Notice foresight, stewardship, building community, listening, empathy, healing. And so the focus is on people, the relationships, not the reporting structures, on people's growth and development, not just profit. Sure, you want a company to make money. You have to, but you get there faster and better and more by focusing on people, enhancing them. That's what servant leadership is about. Here are those results that I show you. Servant leadership is the 3rd column on the right. And what it demonstrates is that they outperformed the good to great companies by Jim Collins and the Fortune 500, which is the lowest bar. So we're not talking about a touchy-feely process. We're talking about a process that works. Dr. Martin Luther King realized this years ago, and he said this. I love this quote because it shows the contrast between traditional leadership and servant leadership. And again, this comes back to you in dealing with these critical challenges in terms of your own personal development and growth. King said this, may I stress the need for courageous, intelligent, dedicated leadership. Leaders of sound integrity. Leaders not in love with publicity, but in love with justice. Leaders not in love with money, but in love with humanity. Leaders who can subject their particular egos to the greatness of the cause. Imagine working for someone like that. Imagine being that kind of leader. So it's about personal development. That's what servant leadership leads us to. It's about giving, not taking. It's about the relationship, the culture that we work with, how we work together in a positive, constructive, uplifting manner. You come to work because you want to. Okay, you don't want to quit. You want to excel. It's a matter of ethics, honor, integrity, character, the heart. Servant leaders talk the walk and walk the talk. And when you do that, your team will follow you. I have a book called The 5 Dynamics of Servant Leadership. I encourage you to check that out. But I encourage you to read others and study others and use my training, my other video trainings, and others that other good people have put together for your own personal development so that you can succeed. I have this dream that soars on golden wings. I dream of your accomplishments and other wondrous things. I do not know beneath what sky or where you'll challenge fate. I only know it can be high. I only know you can be great. Thanks for coming today.